Hello. Wanted to give this tank a last look. I'm going to be tearing it down. It's going to become more of a show tank where I put plants in pots and put them on little stands, and it will have snails. So I think I'm gonna keep my some rabbit snails and white wizard snails in there. So I really need a clean tank, mostly to manage the other snails, so I can eliminate them and keep them out of there. All right, because this is going to be snails only, and I wanted just snails and or just the rabbits and white wizard Japanese trapdoor snails. Um, this is just a aquascape tank. I don't really get into the aquascaping so much anymore, just because after a couple days the tank just kind of just seems boring and routine, and I want to do something different with it. So I don't really. So this is my only aquascape tank, and I'm just bored with it. So let me tell you a little bit about it. It's been running for a year and a half now, just like this. I keep adding plants here and there, and there's a bunch of new ones floating. So um, it's nothing really unique about it. Just a fluorescent T5 high output. There's a sponge filter frame in the right corner. It doesn't have the sponges on it. It's just a frame in a Tupperware container with gravel in it, just to help pull debris in there. And when I clean the tank, I can hit that and do a really good cleaning that way. There's some air on the other side and in the middle of the tank, and it has CO2 hooked up. There's tanks underneath it. So there's really nothing overly unique. Probably the more interesting aspect of this is the substrate is mostly sponges. They're old sponge filter sponges that I built up, and then just put the gravel on top of that to hold it all in place, and then planted my plants on that. So their roots are mostly going into the old sponge filters. The inhabitants, it has some clown plecos that I've hardly ever seen. It's really just become just a nothing tank. It's got a few last Neocaridina shrimp that the plecos haven't been able to eat yet. I think they've figured out a way to eat them, because they've been slowly disappearing. And then it's got some of my white super platinum Madaka. See my little dwarf male there? He's the cutest thing you've ever seen. So it's got those the white platinum Madaka, but there's no purpose for them to be in here. I used to have a school of them in there. And then it's got some Achille fish, an Aphyosemion. They've kind of been taking over the tank. It's one of my favorite killies, and I love killifish, but nobody really wants them anymore. So unfortunately, I feed them to my fish. And this batch is going to a friend of mine, his fish store, and I think there's an aquarium club here having an auction that wanted some of these. So that's where they're going. All right, so I just wanted to give you a look, share a little bit about it. Nothing special. I mean, there's a lot of plants and stuff in there, but nothing unique. And it will become a snail and plant show tank. And going to get started right when I turn this camera off.